All right, and now I'm pleased to introduce the presenter for today's webinar. I am joined by Dr. Tamara Powell. Tammy is the director of the Kennesaw State University College of Humanities and Social Science Office of Distance Education and professor of English. She received her PhD in African American Women's Literature from Bowling Green State University in Bowling Green, Ohio. While teaching at Louisiana Tech University, she wrote the grant that established the first online graduate certificate in technical communication in Louisiana. Currently, she is responsible for faculty development and technology-enhanced learning at KSU for her college. She has received the Online Learning Consortium Award in Faculty Development twice for her work. She has trained over 250 faculty at KSU to create online courses to Quality Matters standards. She lives in Kennesaw with her husband, Dr. Richard Hutchinson, and their German Shepherd rescues, Molly and Hans Dieter. So Tammy, if you're ready to get started, I can go ahead and give you the screen.
Okay, I'm ready. Thank you so much for that nice introduction.
Of course.
Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, let me switch it. Okay. All right. Okay, well, thank you all so much. Thank you, Jen. Today I am really excited to talk to you about our textbook transformation project. And Jen, I meant to tell you, one of our colleagues, Miss Tiffany Reardon, is in the webinar. So if you have any questions for her as well, she's here with us. I told her I was going to put her on the spot. So today I'll talk to you about the grant we got and then the project that we created. I am working on this project with four colleagues, Dr. Jonathan Arnett, Ms. Monique Logan, Dr. Cassandra Race, and Ms. Tiffany Reardon, and we're all here at Kennesaw State University, so I want to give a shout out to them. But I want to talk about what we did and what inspired us. And what we've done is we've created a free technical communication textbook that anyone can use anywhere, any way they want. And we were motivated for several reasons. I mean, one is that according to a study performed by the U.S. Government Accountability Office, the annual average amount students spend on textbooks is 26% of the cost of tuition at a public four-year university. That's a lot. It's certainly a lot more than when I went to school. Of course, as you heard, I was an English major. English textbooks are not nearly as expensive as biology textbooks, but even when I was teaching at Louisiana Tech and teaching technical communication, the textbooks, you know, they were about $50, which again, for an English book is exorbitant, but now they're $180, and one of the things that is really frustrating is that the field at that level has not changed, or the things that have changed, like new technology that we use for TechCom, changes so fast that it's really the teacher's job to keep up with that. The textbooks, by the time they come out, you know, things have changed. So we all know that students sometimes choose not to buy a textbook because they are so expensive. We know the frustration of trying to teach a class to students who don't have the textbook. The students themselves know, different studies have shown the students know that they're at a disadvantage when they don't buy the textbook. As I was talking about before, the textbook prices have skyrocketed for in some fields like technical communication or French grammar, you know, for reasons that no one understands. French grammar doesn't change from year to year. The constant updates to the Intro to TechCom textbook were burdensome to me as a faculty member. It's something that the whole team, we're all TechCom professors, not Tiffany. Tiffany has a TechCom background. She's our instructional designer, but the rest of us were all very frustrated that we have to update our classes every year so that our students can pay these huge amounts for these textbooks that don't change. They change chapter 6 and 8. You know, they switch them out for each other, and that's it. At the same time, there is now research on open educational resources, and the research is positive. We're seeing that students in classes with open educational resources, they perform better, and that's no mystery. I mean, if you have the book, of course you're going to do better than if you don't, but they perform better, they stay in the classes longer, they're more satisfied, they've done tests to show that they learn more, and they're also, because they don't have a textbook to pay for, they're able to pay for additional classes, so then they complete college faster, so they have a lower debt load that way. And another interesting thing that came out in the research is that students understand that they're at a disadvantage and that they're taking a risk when they don't buy the textbook. And of course, even though you pay for class, if you don't buy the textbook and you fall behind, you're not successful, you still have the debt load. So for all these reasons, OERs reduce the debt load both on the front end because you're not paying for the textbook, but on the back end because you're more successful in the class and you can take more classes. So for all these reasons, we were motivated, highly motivated, and we've been talking about creating an open textbook for a long time. There is an open textbook that was created by David McMurray that we were aware of. I think it's called Open Technical Communication. But it wasn't finished at one point, but then McMurray did finish it, and we looked at it, and we're like, this is a great place to start, but we need to do more. So what finally closed the deal was the state of Georgia is also very interested in open educational resources. And so the Affordable Learning Georgia textbook transformation grants became available, and we applied for one of these. And in our application, we explained that we are creating a textbook actually for 2 courses in 2 different departments. The Digital Writing and Media Arts Department teaches TCOM 2010, which is an Intro to Technical Writing class. The English Department teaches Workplace Writing 3140, which is an introduction to business writing or workplace writing. And so most TechCom textbooks can do both. In fact, 3 of us were using the same textbook. And so we are creating, a textbook that should have, we want it to have as broad applications as possible: workplace writing, technical communication, business writing, applied writing, and so on. In these classes, we have 20 to 50 students per section. I teach a large size online section, so I teach 50 students per section. Other faculty teach varying amounts. We offer 21 of these courses per year, just among the 4 of us. I mean, if you take into account all the sections of TCOM 2010 and Writing 3140 that we offer, I have no idea how much it is, but it's a ton. But just among the 4 of us, it was 21 courses per year, 525 students about. And so given the prices of our textbooks, one of our colleagues, Jonathan Arnett, used a slightly less pricey textbook, so we factored that in. The cost that we're saving from the student debt load at Kennesaw State alone is $55,611.55 per year estimated. So that was exciting for us, that we could do this and get exactly what we wanted and not have to update our classes every other year because a publisher switched a chapter, and save our students money and help impact their success. Before I start talking about the details of how we did it, are there any questions at this point?
Nope, I think you're good to keep going.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Well, our working title is Sexy Technical Writing, and some people have said, why would you call it that? But see, we don't have a publisher to deal with. We can call it whatever we want, and we wanted it to be different and something that people would remember. Maybe the students would, have fun. If they ever have fun with a TechCom textbook, I don't know, but maybe they have fun with the fact that they had a textbook called that. And we talk in the introduction about how saving the money is sexy. I mentioned before the McMurray textbook, and I'll talk a little bit more about that because we did use a lot of his with permission. But what we wanted to create is a multimedia interactive textbook. And we wanted to create it in SoftChalk because we wanted to use all the, especially the quizzing features, and put video in there and everything. And it's hosted on the KSU server. And at first we thought we were going to manage the project with the wiki. And as we kept working on it, we finally just started working with it through SoftChalk Cloud, which is interesting because I like to create my own web pages, and I was never a cloud fan. And this, I think, has pushed me over the edge. So I think I'm now a cloud fan. I liked the original SoftChalk product better, but and then the final product is not only always available online for anybody who ever wants to use it, but it's also downloadable if students want to download it and read it on their devices. We're going to make it into an EPUB 3. It's also printable. Now, obviously, the videos won't work if you print it, and some of the interactive stuff won't work if you print it, but it is printable if a student wanted to do that. and totally accessible. We wrote into our grant closed captioning. It's available at this link, and I will show it to you in a second. It's not done yet, but it'll be done. It'll be at that link, and you can see some of the chapters where we're going. And the first class with the book launches summer of 2016. It's actually June the 1st because I'm teaching it, so I'm in a bit of a rush building that class because all of our classes have to be QM certified before they can be taught. So let me go ahead and show you. This may work. Okay, so here's the textbook, and you can see that it's still coming soon. Our fantastic team. And then here's the table of contents. If anyone ever wanted to, go in and like some of them you can see. So you could just link this and then you can go to, not sure why that looks like that, but I think this might be something that's still under development. So how we're managing the project is here. Under my content and lessons, we're all logging in with the same, we all have the same login and password to manage it together. And we had our student assistants upload some of the McMurray chapters. We asked David McMurray if we could use his textbook, so then we divvied up the tasks and assigned different chapters for us to edit and update and make it the way we wanted it. And then we also had some chapters that we wrote ourselves. So there was one called Ethics that I wrote, and yeah, there it is. And so all we have to do is open up the SoftChalk chapter. That's what it'll look like. And our student worker James created the artwork for the background, which is pretty cool. And then so this is one that I wrote, and we tried to keep the QM standards. Are you all familiar with QM? I don't know if in case you're not, it's a set of standards for quality distance learning materials and hybrid courses. And so just that you have the chapter objectives and that you let students know what's going to happen. So different stuff, copyright free clip art. Here's some sample scenarios about ethics that students could use or that a teacher could use to teach with if a teacher wanted to use the textbook. We tried to build in as many resources as possible so that it was comparable to a publisher textbook. Some videos, like I said, they're all closed captioned. And then we have quizzes and poppers, links, anything that we have that's, here's a quiz, and you can go through, and the colors are really bad on that. But and that's not a SoftChalk quiz, but we do have SoftChalk quizzes in here. So you can see that we tried to make it interactive, and one of the other lessons that has more text popper content is one on HTML, and this is one that Tiffany wrote, and you can see that again it has the SoftChalk text popper that's very cool, and she put a lot of cool things in here so that if you needed a chapter on how to do basic HTML, you would have it here. So that's what the textbook looks like, and like I said, we manage it just by everybody logs in and edits the chapter that he or she has been assigned, and that way it's always there. Also, another book we used was Steve and Sherry Miller's Why Brilliant People Believe Nonsense, which had some logic in it. So again, with permission, they let us use a couple of chapters, and that's here in the logic chapters. So what you can do then, as I said, we use McMurray's and Miller's chapters, and then we added interactive activities and videos both by us and from experts. We have several experts in the TechCom field who are going to give us some guest videos about what to expect in the workplace or stuff like that. We made sure it was all accessible. We wrote the chapters that need to be written. The great thing about working with technical communicators is that, of course, they are fantastic, organized writers. Tiffany really managed the project for us, and gave us deadlines, and helped us to use different tools that maybe we weren't all familiar with. And lots of remixing, which is a characteristic of open educational resources, and one that really applies here, where even though there was a chapter that we took from McMurray, we had permission from him to do whatever we wanted with it. And so we went in and updated examples or added stuff that we wanted students in our classes to be sure they knew before they came to class or whatever. So it's been fun. I think we all wish we had more time. But the thing that I think is the cool special features of our textbook are that these are short. Each of those topics you saw, they're not really chapters so much as topics. They're short topic-specific online chapters that you can load into any learning management system. So when, as I'm building the class, I'm linking right to the cloud. But once we have all the stuff built out, we'll put it in that textbook page that you saw, and you can link just to that. You won't have to log into the cloud or anything. It'll just be there. So you can just stick these topics anywhere in your class that you want. You can email them to students. You can put them in your syllabus. I'm going to put them right in the learning management system. It doesn't have to integrate. Your IT people don't have to be bothered with this. Learning activities and assignments to support instructor use, as I showed you. Interactive activities. We have quizzes and puzzles and games to support content. Videos, as I said, that are all accessible and that are created by the team, but also by experts in the field to create and increase learning and support professional development. One of the things that's so important with our students is, of course, that they're employable, so a lot of attention to what do they need to know to impress employers. And then collaborative activities to build community among all users of the text. So even if you just found this text and just wanted to read it on your own, we're going to put in activities with tools like Padlet and Lino so that you can collaborate with other readers no matter where they are. You don't have to be in a class. And hopefully it can benefit people at all levels. And like I said, faculty can put the links to our chapters in their LMS or in emails or whatever. So this is my syllabus, Module 2. It's a PDF that I will put up on the learning management system, and students can just click and it will take them to the reading for that day. So no worries about no access codes, nothing like that. Just you have the textbook. You're in the class, so you have the textbook. So that's what we did, and I'm excited to share it with you just because we're so excited about giving our students exactly what we want them to have at no cost to them. But we're also super excited if anybody wants to use it or has questions or wants to write a chapter or anything else. We're super excited to share. And I really appreciate you letting me tell you about it.
Yeah, Tammy, we have a couple of questions here. Can you just confirm you have an institutional license?
For SoftChalk, yes, we have an institutional license.
Perfect. And then Kim asked, are you aware of many grant opportunities for creating products like this? Do you feel you were compensated well enough for the work that it takes to create a book like this?
I'm an English faculty member. Why? I don't even know what money is. Are you kidding me? No. If you're in Georgia, if you're in the state of Georgia, there are these Affordable Learning Georgia grants are available for you. And if you are not in Georgia, I don't know if they let you do it if you're not in Georgia, but I can certainly ask if anyone wants to know. And also, Lumina Foundation, I believe, and OpenStax, they frequently recruit people to write books like this. As far as, I have friends who have written textbooks for publishers, and there's no, we got nothing compared to that. The total grant was for $30,000, and I think we got $5,000 each, and of course after taxes we got $3,500 each maybe. So nothing compared to what a publisher will pay you. But for us, the important thing was that we for some reason, I don't know why we all felt this way, but we all just really wanted to give our students something that we felt was valuable and that we had control over, that we weren't constantly at the whim of the publisher taking a chapter out and putting some random thing in or whatever for no reason. And in that way, the satisfaction level is incredibly high. So in that way, yes. And also the research that we're getting out of it. We're researching, of course, the impact. We did a bunch of research on the front end about how the students felt about the publisher textbooks and the success rate of them. Um, all data not tied to their names or anything, big data, not particular data. And then now we're going to start doing the research on the use of the OER and making improvements in it based on what our students see. And for all of that, I think, yes, it'll be really worth it. That's a good
Awesome.
question.
Jason asked, how printer friendly are the chapters if students wanted to put them in a binder?
Oh yeah, I don't know if you saw it, but at the top of every, let me pull it up maybe, at the top of every page here, um, it says print all, and the student can print off every chapter. You'll get all the text,
And like you
but
said, just the videos and the activities would not necessarily translate into the printed version.
right,
Perfect.
absolutely. Mhm.
John asked, what were the surprises you had in this process? What took more time, effort, etc., than you expected?
Um, Kennesaw State and Southern Polytechnic State University merged, consolidated. That happened really fall 2015. That was cool because this is, I think, the first project across the new institutions. Like the two of our faculty are from the Marietta campus, which was formerly Southern Polytechnic State University. But the merge has been consolidation. I'm trying to use the right word. The consolidation has made this place crazy, just with busy, busy. And so that I did not expect. I think none of us expected that we would all just suddenly be caught up in the whirlwind of all this change. So I think we're all very good, organized people, and I just felt like a terrible, bad, disorganized person all fall. That was one challenge that we just didn't predict, that hopefully you never have to experience. But the other thing was when we got into a lot of the sample documents that came with the McMurray chapter, we realized that we didn't realize it before, we realized we would have to revise a whole lot of them. They were dated, they were good for him and his classes, but they weren't what we wanted to launch with a brand new textbook. And then with the examples that we couldn't create ourselves, we had to find them and to find copyright-free tech writing examples that aren't proprietary. Man, we just didn't realize that challenge. And we thought we were going to use the wiki for project management, and I think though that was a pleasant surprise that we could do it right on the cloud.
Yeah, that
So
goes
those,
into another question where it says, when you mentioned that you use materials from other textbooks with authors' permissions, will that involve the copyright issues?
no, because McMurray self-published his book. It belonged to him, so he had complete and total right to give us all the materials. All his materials were already copyright cleared and CC by Commons, permissions. The other book, Why Brilliant People Believe Nonsense, we had the permission to use the 3 chapters from the authors there. So they get, we had that. So nothing was used in violation of copyright law. None of our graphics are, either we got permission from the person who created them or we created them ourselves. So we actually have, fortunately, in Kennesaw State, we have quite a few authors in our English department, and so we actually had some authors create some stuff for us and give it to us. And so we are going to have a couple of, this was created by this author of these books, like a little ad in there. We said we'd do that for their work. So.
Perfect. And could you just really quick explain what the Affordable Learning Georgia Textbook Transformation Grant was?
Oh, I would love to. So these are a series of grants. There's been 5 rounds so far this past year, and I'm sure there'll be another 5 rounds next year. Georgia, they're saving millions in student book fees. So that's not a good explanation. So the Affordable Learning Georgia initiative is an initiative that brings together people from every campus in the University of Georgia system, and we all learn more about open educational resources and do everything we can to reduce textbook costs, whether it's using low-cost or no-cost textbooks, open textbooks like textbooks from OpenStax, which actually creates free textbooks you can just use for your classes. It's from Rice University. They're vetted by faculty. I mean, these are high-quality things. This isn't Mrs. Crabapple's third-grade blog on sociology or whatever. And then also pays faculty, like they paid us, a minimal amount, but still it's nice to create stuff for our classes. So 13 different Kennesaw State faculty groups have gotten grants in, culinary arts, African diaspora studies, and all of this stuff. Part of the grant is that whatever you create has to be made publicly accessible for anybody, anywhere to use. So that's what they do. The grants are usually $10,000 for 2 people to work, and usually you partner with an instructional designer, or $30,000 for a group. So for our group of 4 people plus our instructional designer, we got $30,000. I don't know. Are there any other questions about that?
No, we do still have a couple other questions though.
Okay.
Has it come up yet on how OER textbook authorship fits into promotion and tenure norms and requirements?
That is definitely institution by institution, but I will tell you, Kennesaw State, it is just like having a textbook published by a publisher. 2 of us just went through promotion and tenure review, and it was one of the things that the committee praised both of us for. That's so great that you did that. We're glad to see this. Yeah, we definitely got super credit for it. So I certainly hope your institution looks at it as favorably, because this is big. I mean, $55,000 from Kennesaw students, I think that's why we're here. I think a tenure and promotion committee should definitely look favorably upon that.
Wonderful. Chris asks, I know that SoftChalk permits users to export their content to an ebook format, but in this case, you are placing the SoftChalk content in your LMS. It doesn't function as an actual ebook, correct?
Oh, no, it's a website. Yeah, it's an ebook. I'm sorry that wasn't clear. Yeah, this is just right here. You can go right there, and the table of contents will be up, and yeah, it's an ebook. You can put it right in your LMS.
And SoftChalk is all mobile friendly as well. So if you're viewing a lesson, you can view it on mobile devices.
And we're going to put it in EPUB 3 format too. Perfect. So you'll have multiple options.
All right. Is any of the research on student use for OER that you mentioned you did at the beginning of the project published?
Not yet. Now, some of the stuff I mentioned at the beginning is from Lumina Foundation. You can just Google OER research. They just had a big study come out over 10 institutions. So that's all. Did I have the? I may have that. No, I didn't put sorry, I didn't put the references up. I usually do that. So yeah, that's all stuff that was done by other institutions. Lumina Foundation does a lot of that. The research that we're going to do, we're hoping to present at the Online Learning Consortium conference in Orlando in November, hopefully.
Perfect. Do you run into any trouble with your curriculum committees by not using a required published text?
Fortunately, no, not at Kennesaw State, but I certainly know that happens at other institutions. And that's one of the things that people worry about with OERs, oh, are they any good? Well, the thing about this textbook is if you don't think it's any good, you just take it and fix it so that it is good for you. That's the same thing with OpenStax. If there's something that you don't like, just rewrite the chapter. You can do that, so it's great.
Perfect. Someone also mentioned, could you show Padlet and Lino? They're not familiar with those resources, just kind of maybe where it is in one of your lessons, or at least spell them, or maybe we can add a page to the end of the presentation and I can send that out in the follow-up email to everybody.
Yeah, it's so easy. Yeah, this is the best. It's free, and all you do is, for example, I asked my faculty one time, tell me how you teach deliberately. So they just click and a note appears. For some reason it's not, oh, there it is. And you just type, and that's it. That's all the student has. There's no login, there's no nothing. It's Padlet.com. A related Linoit, Linoit, a related piece of software is Linoit, and the thing that makes Linoit different is that you can upload your own canvas. So, for example, I just had my students go look at an AIDS exhibit that we had on campus, the Art of AIDS, and it was for bonus points, so they didn't all participate. But I used PowerPoint to make. I have a large screen, and so that's why this doesn't look as good as it should. If you have a normal size computer screen, you won't have this. But here the column was expected to experience / feel and learn. Here was things I learned, saw, move ACEs, experience, wondered about, and here was reflections um, on what I saw, learned, or experienced. I have lost my lino. There it is. So all you do, again, you just stick, oh no, this is different. You take there's a sticky note over here somewhere, there it is, and you move it, and you write on it, and you paste it. And the cool thing is, if you have a face-to-face class, you can have this do this before they get into class, and they can pull it up on their devices, and they can start moving their sticky notes into different categories as the class discussion progresses, and they change their minds, which is kind of cool. You can actually watch them think in a way. But those are both free and easy and fun, and you can, and very mobile friendly too. You can have them go out, like if you teach a language class and say, I want you to find masculine pronouns. Have them take a picture of an object that's a masculine pronoun and post it under masculine pronouns in Italian or whatever. Come back to class and do a scavenger hunt like that. So lots of fun things.
Perfect. Cheryl also said she's an instructional designer. How can she be involved in this type of project? She finds it quite interesting.
Oh, Cheryl, it's too bad I didn't know you a year ago. I could have drafted you. If you're in Georgia, if you're at a Georgia institution, then all you have to do is go to Affordable Learning Georgia, and you can the next grant deadline should be in September. And I'm sure if you can explain to a faculty member how you can help, because a lot of times this is an overwhelming thing for a faculty member to, I do instructional design and I'm a faculty member, and so I kind of knew the two parts of the project, but it's overwhelming for a faculty member, I think, sometimes to understand. Being a subject matter expert, we got that. Getting it online can be a challenge. So yeah, I know that your expertise would be welcome. You could also contact, if you're not in the state of Georgia, you could contact OpenStax at OPENSTAX, and you could offer your assistance, because I know they're always looking for help. That's exciting.
Perfect. And I think that's it. So if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and take the screen back.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Again, for more information about our presenter, you can email her at the address listed on your screen. And for more information about SoftChalk, you can visit our website, softchalk.com, or you can email us at learnmore@softchalk.com. And if you think you have a great idea for an Innovator session, email me at innovators@softchalk.com. Tammy, thank you so much for presenting this webinar with us this afternoon. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. I hope you guys have a great day.
Thank you all.